Hey friends, welcome to the Wise Witch Garden Table. Today we're gonna pull some basil. In our house we call it basil. We're gonna pull some basil, we're gonna freeze some, and we're also going to make some pesto. So one of the things, and behind me there's a gigantic basil, so I'm just gonna pull that right now and yep. All right. All right. Oh my gosh, that was tougher than I thought. Holy smokes, I thought I got sucked in. All right, so this is a beautiful bunch of basil. What I do want to point out is if you want to leave some of your basil in the ground so that it continues to produce for you, so you can, use it fresh when you need it if you're cooking that much. What you want to always do, where is it? Here we go. Is if you see flowers like that coming up, see that flower right there? You're going to want to pull those off, trim them off with your sharp, whatever these are, pruning things. So any flowers you see, you don't have to do it once you pull it, it's a moot point, but while they're still in the ground, pull your flowers off if you want to leave them in the ground and have them produce longer. If you let them go to flower, they will start to, the leaves will start to die off. And they also lose a little bit of their flavor when they go into full flower because, of course, the plant concentrates on growing the flower instead of putting all the oomph into the leaves. But this bundle right here we're going to make some pesto. We're also going to freeze some. It smells divine. I have another bundle that I picked earlier this morning. So let's go make some pesto. All right, so we've pulled a couple of big bunches. One I pulled this morning. And I've already washed these off. So if you are pulling out your basil from your garden, do make sure you wash it off just to get rid of any hitchhikers, any, dust or dirt from your garden. And then you want to let it completely dry. These are already starting to wilt because they've been sort of air drying for the last couple of hours. So before we get started, just want to give a shout out to a couple of new subscribers. So we have really gratitude for all of y'all who have subscribed, but shout out to what's the name there? Boy Bimpo. Thanks for joining. Thanks for watching. Intuitive Thrive. Peace to you. And also August, who and wherever you are, we appreciate you. So thank you, as well as all the other folks who have subscribed to the channel. All right. So for this, you're going to need a bunch of fresh basil. We're going to first start with pesto. So a couple of things about basil. Basil is a staple in a lot of Italian cooking, right? In a lot of Greek cooking as well. It is a has tremendous health benefits. It's said to lower inflammation, be very good for regulating your nervous system, as well as benefits to heart health as well. So it's a really powerful little herb. So you can make basil oil if you're doing any kind of, work in that way, oil work. You can also dry this and use that in some of your, if you do ritual work at all. Basil is said to be very, very good. It's bright color green, is known for protection, cleansing, and also abundance drawing. So a really good herb for cleansing spaces and, getting rid of negativity in spaces. So it's an all-around great one to have. So we're going to make some pesto, and I'm making it in a manner that will allow you to freeze it. It's a little bit different when you make it fresh versus freeze. And then I'll also show you, just if you don't want to do pesto, how to just straight up freeze it if you want to pull it throughout the year for things like, if you're making marinara sauce or whatever you're doing with basil. We'll show you how to freeze that too. But the first thing you're going to need for pesto is a bunch of fresh basil leaves, right? So we're going to take about a couple of cups, and you're going to need a food processor or a NutriBullet or something that's going to, allow you to smash everything together, a blender, something like that, something that works pretty well. Okay, so first up, we're going to take a bunch of basil. And so what I'm going to do here is just clip some of this off of our bunch. And you're only looking for the leaves here, so you don't want, you don't want to cut the stems in or anything. And what I'm looking to do is get about 2 cups for what we're making. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull the leaves off, or like so. And then once we have our 2 cups of leaves, we're going to add to it the other pieces in this recipe. Don't forget to compost. So any of your stems and stuff like that, throw in your compost. Good for your garden, good for your soul. Hey, shout out to Pibbles Kibbles. The shirt I'm wearing today, that's a pet food pantry for people who can't, who are struggling to feed their pets. It's a way that enables folks to hang on to their pets when they're having some food insecurity issues themselves. So they're doing great work in New England, and look them up and help them out if you can. Okay, so here we go. We're going to go ahead and put all of our stuff in a bowl here, all of our leaves. And we're going to go for about 2 cups, and we can eyeball it. It doesn't have to be exact. So, and all I'm doing is I'm rough pulling because we're going to end up throwing it in the food processor. So that's going to take care of all the chopping and munching that we need to happen. Okay, here we go. That looks pretty good. And if there's any leaves that have any kind of damage, any sort of appeared damage, just cast those aside. You want to use the best leaves you have. And typically the most tender leaves and the most flavorful leaves are the ones that are a little bit smaller and closer to that flowering that is about to happen. And you want to remember, if you want your basil to continue to grow in your garden, if you're in the climate where it can grow all year, good for you. But if you're in New England or other climates that get snow, the Midwest, etc., or that get frost, you're going to have it for probably until about October, November. And the way that you keep it producing for you to use in cooking is to just make sure that you cut those flower tops off when you see them starting to form. And that way, all of the energy of the plant will go into retaining the leaves. All right, so this looks like we got about a cup there. I'm going to go again, get another cup happening right here. Got my trusty scissors. Basil goes a long way, and it's one of those herbs that has a lot of bang for its buck. So, as they say, less can be more. But in pesto, basil is your star. So less is definitely not more. You want to go all out and not hold back on how much basil you use. We're not making a traditional basil today with pine nuts. We're going to use walnuts. And that's primarily because, to be honest, I live in a rural spot in the USA. And so finding things like pine nuts and, gourmet sort of cooking type items is pretty difficult in our little town. So you do what you can. And, I don't want to buy online. I don't want to use Amazon at the moment. So I decided to use walnuts instead of pine nuts as our other key ingredient. So again, you can use what you want. We'll talk about that in a minute. These leaves look great. Holy smokes. I wish you could smell this. I always say that smell-o-vision, but holy smokes, this has just lit up the kitchen with this bright, amazing scent of basil. It just smells like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm somewhere just in a great space with basil all around me. I know I'm a little strange, but that's all right. Okay, that's about 2 cups, I think. And so we've got that in our food processor. Let's give that a little bit of a zippity-doo-dah so that we can get it down a bit and go from there. Okay. All right, that's great. We're mushing that up pretty well. Now, what we're going to add to this is we've got our, this is the garlic we pulled a couple weeks ago. So this will last Rena and I all year long. If you take a look at it, it's cured up. If you watch the video where we harvested, it wasn't cured yet. It is now. So the paper on the outside is perfect. We've cut the tops and the bottoms off. And as you can see, it's got a beautiful purple hue. This is a Deerfield hardneck garlic. Shout out to Massachusetts Deerfield. This is their homegrown version of garlic. It's awesome. It is has a great garlic vibe, and then it also has a little bit of a spicy hit at the end. So it's just a beautiful, versatile form of garlic. And if you do live in states that are cold, like I do, hardneck garlic is the only way to go. The soft neck garlic will really not do very well in those climates. So we're going to peel, and we don't even need to chop it. Some about 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to go with 5 good sized cloves here. Peel and chop. And then what else is going to go in there? The other thing we want to add to this mix is I've got 3/4 cup of olive oil. So I'm going to pour that in. And that's extra virgin olive oil. Use the best that you can because it's really helpful. Okay, let's see. The other thing I'm going to set in there. Let me open it up. That's probably easier. All right. So I've got my 5 cloves of garlic that I've kind of peeled and prepped. And they're going right in there. Yep, there we go. I'm going to also squeeze in there half a lemon. Just like so. And then in addition to the half a lemon, I'm going to grate a little bit of lemon zest in there. And the reason you do that, if you're freezing, it just retains the brightness of the basil, so it won't look like brown yuck. If you freeze it and pull it out of the freezer, it'll retain that bright green color. We're also going to throw in a half a cup of walnuts. If you were using pine nuts, if you want to go traditional, you would use a half a cup of pine nuts, okay? And then in here, I have about 3 tablespoons, 3 tablespoons of Parmesan cheese. So we're going to throw that in there as well. Now, a lot of this is eyeballing it. You're looking for a consistency, so let's hit that and see what happens. All right, let's take a look, see what we got going on here. So we're going to grab a spoon, just check for consistency. All right, that looks pretty good right there. If you look at that, that looks pretty darn good. I'm just going to do a little taste test here. That's delicious. It feels like it needs, for me, a little hit of salt in there. So I'm going to hit it with some salt. I'm also going to add a little bit more oil. But the cheese ratio and the lemon is perfect. So let me get those couple of things and then we'll show you how to freeze it up. All right, so we added a little bit more olive oil. I'm hitting this with some crushed black pepper. And let's give it a good whiz around at a higher speed, and then we should be good to go. Yeah, look at that. All right, that looks pretty darn good. Let's check it out. Yeah, much better, much better. And so when you're freezing this, we're going to show you how to do that in a second, but let's just check it out. Bingo. That is good. Okay. So that's ready to rock and roll. You could actually use this right now and put it on, sauteed vegetables, on fettuccine, whatever you use pesto on. some of those zucchini noodles we showed you how to do. But I'm going to freeze some of this. So there's a couple of options for freezing. You can put pesto directly into a glass, like a mason jar with a lid in your freezer. What you want to do is make sure there's enough room so that if it expands, it doesn't break your glass. You could also do it in ice cube trays, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to freeze it up in ice cube trays, and then we'll pop them out and store them in like a tight, airtight bag. All right, so to freeze basil, so first of all, this is our pesto that we took out. I also made some cubes with it, so we can show those in a little while. But I'm actually going to put this in the fridge and use it up over this week. If you are going to save yours as well, you know, don't hang on to it for more than a week or so. But you can also freeze this as well. If I were going to freeze it, I would have filled it up so that you could still see some space. This one's pretty full. If you want to freeze your basil in order to use it other than pesto, so to use it in cooking, you know, Mediterranean cooking, Italian cooking, whatever you're doing, super simple. Just cut some leaves in the amount that you would normally use for the dishes that you make. And so I'll tell you, when we make sauce, I will usually use quite a lot of basil. We'll be making some sauce. Actually, next week we'll be doing some eggplant parm videos, which is awesome. So a nice handful. I'm just going to throw it in some little plastic wrap right there. I know I hate plastic wrap, so please don't judge. I haven't figured out a way to freeze this without using plastic wrap, to freeze it whole without using plastic wrap. So if you have suggestions on how to do that, let me know. I hate using plastic. So anyway, I have all of these little things that look untoward to some, but these are all basil. And what I'm going to end up doing is filling up a Ziploc freezer bag with these little individual meal basils, fresh basils, and then I can take them out of the freezer whenever I want them. And that works really great. This normally we get a nice little baggie full, and that will last us the entire year for all of our cooking. And then the other thing you can do, if you have additional basil outside before it, you know, before you get frost or before it flowers out, you can take what you have. Again, always cut the flowers off. It makes the flavor of the leaves much more better, much more flavorful. But you can take a big bunch like this, wash it off like I did, and then hang it upside down. And what you want to do is just, you know, put a cord around there, hang it in an aerated place. So, you know, I have a hook in my window in the back there. Sometimes I'll dry herbs off that hook. You could hang it in a, you know, in a shed, somewhere where you're getting airflow. And then once these leaves dry up and are dry to the touch, you touch one and it crumbles, bring them in the house, and then just, you know, crumple them up. You can use your hand. You don't need a food processor at that point when they're that dry. And then just store it in a jar in your cupboard with all your other herbs and spices. So those are your options. And then I'm making up some pasta right now that I'm going to throw this on top of with some fresh zucchini that I just pulled out of the garden. And then we're going to wrap this up. Rightio. Well, we've got our packets here of basil made up. I'm going to throw them in a Ziploc freezer bag, just like that. These are all done up in single serve or single meal type dishes quantities. And typically, as I mentioned, this will normally last Rena and I the entire year for making. We make a lot of sauce and do a lot of Italian cooking. So after the fresh basil is gone, this will normally carry us through until next season. That's just going to go right in the freezer. We also have, I whipped up just some normal rotatini pasta. I hit it with that fresh pesto. How fabulous is that? I grilled a couple of zucchinis here, and I'm just going to lay those out on top. Oopsie, just like that. There's another nice one here. And nothing like grilled zucchini. And then I'm also going to hit this with a couple of Kalamata olives. Kalamata, I struggle with that word. Kalamata olives. We're going to do a little quick, here's a couple of basil leaves on there just to really highlight the excitement of it all. I'm going to hit all of this with a little bit of Parmesan Romano blend right there. That's beautiful. And then last but not least, our friend parsley is going to go on top. Just like that. And we have a voila. We have a beautiful meal there. Let me try it out, because don't take my word for it. Let's get it live. All right, let's try it out. So we got, oh yeah, nice thing of pesto. Grab an olive there. All right. Oh my gosh, that's delicious. Yeah, that can be great on those zucchini noodles. Anything you like pesto, it's a really good alternative to red or heavier sauces. Delicious, guys. Hey, thanks for watching. Really appreciate y'all tuning in, and hope you're having a beautiful day. Enjoy your kitchen. Enjoy your garden. Be kind to yourself and one another. See you next time. Thank you.